Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I show you how to go about collecting seeds off of your impatiens plants. So let's go. Can you believe I grew these impatiens from seed? Well, I did. And I absolutely love them. Where I live, I have a ton of shade. So I want to have more of these plants next year. Actually, in the previous years, I have planted a ton of these, like in my hanging baskets, my window boxes. This year, I didn't grow as many, and I regret that. So my plan for this year is to collect as many of these seeds as I can. And then I can start them under grow lights later in the winter so that I'm ready to plant them in my landscape next spring. In some areas, impatiens will drop their seeds and you will have freebie impatient plants in your yard. Here where I live in New Hampshire, zone 5B, it is extremely rare for an impatient plant to come back from seed. So I absolutely need to collect the seeds and grow them again for next year, just to ensure I have enough of this beautiful plant. Now, could I go and buy a bunch of seeds and grow them that way? I definitely can, but I like to have a lot of flowers in my yard. So I don't want to worry about one packet only having 10 or 15, 20 seeds in it. I want hundreds of seeds. Also, when I'm growing them indoors, there is that likelihood that maybe the first batch of seeds, they didn't germinate. It could be a user problem. Maybe I didn't water them enough. Maybe I planted the seeds too deep or not deep enough. So it's always good to collect more seeds than you think you're going to need. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to impatiens, there are different kinds of impatiens. So some of them might not have seeds that you can collect from them. The plants might be sterile, therefore not producing seeds. So you're just going to have to play it by ear. I just know that this type of impatiens, these are not anything special. These are not New Guinea impatiens or anything like that. They always produce seeds for me. So I just collect them year to year. And I am totally fine with the fact that they're all different colors in here. I think that makes it beautiful. So when I collect the seeds, I have the understanding that the seeds are going to maybe look different than the plants that I collected the seeds from. And I think that makes it a very interesting thing to look forward to for next year. So let's go ahead and take you in for a closer shot so I can show you what you're looking for when you want to collect the seeds off of this particular type of plant. It is still pretty early for me to be collecting seeds off of my impatiens. I looked around very carefully. I did not find a ton of seed pods on here. However, I did find one, and I might find another one if I look hard enough. The one that I found is hidden right over here. So when collecting your seed pod, keep in mind when it comes to impatiens, the minute that you pull this off, there is a very good likelihood that it's going to burst open and the seeds might scatter everywhere. So when I pull it off, I like to pull it very carefully and have my hand closed as much as possible, should that burst open. And it did not. Phew. So when it comes to the seed pod, what you're usually looking for is you can start to see the little brown seeds showing through the skin of the seed pod. If you were to open this up and the seeds in there were white, they are not good. That means that the seeds are not ripe and they will not germinate. You only want to use the seeds if they're a dark brown color. So let's go ahead and open this pot up and see what color the seeds are inside. Fingers crossed. Well, great news. That's the seeds and they are definitely not white. So they are a good color. And that tells me that I can go ahead and start to dry them out so that they get ready for storage. I've gone ahead and brought the seeds in for the impatiens just so that they can dry out for a couple of days. So again, here are the seeds and you can see they're a pretty brown color compared to the paper. And I made a baggie that I'm going to store the seeds in. I labeled it with impatiens. I collected them on September 12th and I'm just putting a dime here for reference so that you can see the size of the dime compared to how tiny these seeds are. And I could wait a few more days if I really want to let this dry out even more. But if you wanted to open it up more, you could just kind of shake it around and you could release the seeds that way. I've released most of the seeds out of this seed pod, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep it so that it can dry out for a few more days. So let's go ahead and take you in for a closer look so you can see what the seeds look like. Pretty tiny. And again, this is what the seed pod over here looks like. And you can see that it still has a few seeds left inside of there. So I'll just wait for it to dry out and then I can release the seeds at that time. Isn't this a lovely combination? Here are some more impatiens that I started from seed, as well as some wax begonias that I started from seed. And if you haven't seen that video yet, please be sure to check out the video on how to collect your own wax begonia seeds. And also I made a video on how to collect the seeds of a Biden plant. I hope you learned something new. I'd love to know, are you collecting seeds this year from some of your plants? Which ones? Are they annuals, perennials, vegetable plants? Please share a comment below and let us know what you're doing. I think it's a great way for all of us to inspire each other that way. Until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.